Dear gentle viewers, Season 4 of Netflix Bridgerton is definitely coming. We have release dates, possible casting, and several returning characters. The biggest question, however, is will it be based on an offer from a gentleman to Sir Philip with love or when he was wicked? Season 3 broke Julia Quinn's sequence. Season 3 of Netflix's hit historical fiction Bridgerton reached a 25.3 million viewership with just 4 episodes. The latest season, based on Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, focuses on Colin Bridgerton and Penelope Featherington's story, the classic friends to lovers trope. The next 4 are yet to be released, and even though Colin and Penelope's story hasn't concluded yet, fans have started desperate pleas for Season 4. Now, Shonda Rhimes likes to toy with the Bridgerton fanbase. While the series producer has promised more seasons and guaranteed at least a 4th, she's been quiet about the details. When Netflix announced its plan to turn Julia Quinn's novel series into a show, fans thought they knew what was coming. After all, how much could they sway from the original series, right? Turns out they could move things around pretty easily. The first season, based on The Duke and I, strayed from the text quite a lot. In hindsight, it gave fans of the book something to look forward to when the show aired. But Shondaland took things a step further for Season 3. She broke the novel sequence. If we were to follow Julia Quinn's mapping of the Bridgerton saga, Benedict Bridgerton's story would have been next. Season 3 would have been based on an offer from a gentleman instead. Shonda had a good reason for breaking the continuum, and that's the fact that the showrunners revealed Lady Whistledown's identity in the Season 1 finale. Drumroll, it was Penelope Featherington. That was the big reveal that Julia had originally intended for Penelope's own story, but Shonda decided to pump the gas. The anticipation was already at an all-time high when Season 2 premiered, and went up further when the second season concluded with Eloise Bridgerton finding out it'd been Penelope all along. Penelope's story was becoming more of the main plot than the subplot, and so it made sense for Season 3 to focus on her. By way of Penelope, though, we also get to focus on Colin. No one's complaining about that. Will another Bridgerton brother get married in Season 4? The biggest question everyone has right now is, which book will the showrunners follow for Season 4? And there are a few theories we need to go over, starting with the obvious, Benedict's story. The second eldest of the Bridgerton siblings, and admittedly the most aloof of them, Benedict's story was supposed to come before Colin's. On that note, Nicola Coughlan and Luke Newton have confirmed they'll be returning for Season 4. This, however, gives us little to no information on who'd actually be up front and center for Season 4. Fans who believe it could be Benedict's story believe it's because the show hasn't given us any indication yet of Sir Philip Crane's return. Yep, the Sir Philip mentioned in the title of Eloise's story is the same Philip Crane from Season 1. Better remembered as the brother of George Crane, the man Marina was in love with, and whose child she ultimately had after he passed away in war. Philip, as most Bridgerton fans would remember, had almost no speaking roles with Eloise in the first season. To be fair, he didn't have many speaking roles at all. All we knew of him in Season 1 was that he came to whisk away Marina, promising to look after her. In Season 2, though, we got a better look at him. Marina seemed happy, and she'd given birth to her son with George, whom Philip had decided to raise as his own. Their story comes to a tragic end, which forms the basis for his story with Eloise. So far, there hasn't been any mention of Philip in Season 3. To be fair, that might change in the next 4 episodes, set to be released on June 13th. Back to Benedict, though. Fans who believe his story is coming up have pretty solid reasons. On the other hand, fans who don't believe his story's next on Shonda's list have a good reason too. We just don't know Benedict well enough yet. All the reasons why Eloise could lead Season 4. Shondaland had all the creative liberties in the world with Season 1. They could have started with any of the Bridgerton siblings' stories first, and people who hadn't read the book wouldn't have found a difference. They still decided to start with the first one in the original series, The Duke and I. The main reason why they didn't break the continuum with the second season was because Anthony had gotten enough of a backstory with the first one. Obviously, in the season based on the Viscount Who Loved Me, we got a deeper insight into who the oldest Bridgerton sibling was. On that note, we also got a deeper insight into Colin and Penelope's relationship than we did Benedict. Both subplots ran together, but with Eloise's quest to find the true identity of Lady Whistledown, it was obvious that besides Anthony and Kate Sharma, Penelope was the central figure in Season 2. For Season 3, that central figure would have to be Eloise. The season focuses on the breakdown of her friendship with Penelope, her toxic relationship with Cressida, and her internal conflict as she tries to shield Penelope from Cressida's incessant bullying while still resenting her. Benedict's love life had been touched upon in the previous season almost as much as Eloise's has. However, the main difference would be that Benedict has side quests that are too far off from the main plot. In Eloise's case, even her relationship with Theo Sharp circled back to the main plot. That, plus the fact that at least Philip Crane has been somewhat introduced in the show. Benedict's love interest, based on the books, hasn't so far. Then again, showrunner Jess Burnell claimed that they were experimenting with the show. The Diamond of Season 3 could star in Season 4. There's one character who seems to have been much more involved this season than the first two. That be Francesca Bridgerton, better known as the Deputante the Queen's taken a special interest in. Right now, a few subplots are going on in Season 3, and one of them has to do with Francesca and John Sterling. Again, Shondaland broke the continuum when they introduced the Bridgerton siblings' love interest before their season. The only other time they did it was when Quinn did it too. That's Penelope and Colin. People who think Francesca's story is coming next have compelling reasons. For one, Shonda Rhimes admitted they were taking a different direction with the Netflix series. This has people thinking if she's willing to switch up the context of the books too, and not just the sequence. The theory right now is that maybe Eloise's arc as a spinster is going to continue for the next few seasons. That's because, while she's the most steadfast and staunch Bridgerton sister even in the books, the Netflix series takes it up a notch. That plus the fact that maybe Shonda wants to throw us a curveball. Every season is focused on a Bridgerton sibling and their significant other. What if they skip that step for Eloise? Of course, this isn't set in stone right now, and the writers' team is working on bringing us a fourth season. Speaking of which, there are more reasons to suggest the fourth season would be about Francesca's love story. And that's the fact that everyone loves Hannah Dodd. If you're wondering why Francesca looked different this season, it might have something to do with the fact that they recast the role. In Ruby Stokes' defense, her character was only in a supporting role in the first two seasons. So when she got the offer to star in a Netflix series as the lead, she jumped at the opportunity and said goodbye to Bridgerton, taking a page out of Regé-Jean Page's notebook. In hindsight, she left right before things were starting to get good. Francesca's character has been upped as a main character this season, and fans believe that's foreshadowing her book, When He Was Wicked, coming up next. When will Season 4 be released? So, when is next? Shondaland hasn't released an official date for the fourth season just yet. Maybe they're waiting for the dust to settle on the third season first. However, a fair guesstimation would be that a fourth season would start filming toward the end of 2024 and likely premiere toward the middle of 2025. Nothing certain about the fourth season just yet besides two things. It's going to be different than the books, and it's going to be as entertaining as ever. Shonda has a knack for delivering a great production, and Bridgerton has been no different. And that's all on Bridgerton Season 4.